And we're working. Work. Alright, and welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. Today's project is this dwarf African strangler fig, or a Ficus Natalensis, I guess. About 5 months ago, I pruned, defoliated, and wired it. I do have a video for that. I'll include that link in the description along with one other earlier video from it. And I'll go ahead and just throw in an early picture here. I do believe that this picture you're looking at would be this trunk facing you with the two main branches going that way. That's from 2019, January 2019. So just about 3 years ago. This tree has come a long ways since then. It is kind of a victim of my earlier, when I first got into the hobby or whatever, where I was like every 2 months I was wanting to defoliate and prune every time I saw it do anything. You know, been one of the trees that have just taught me that every now and again you just got to leave it alone for a little while. So since I did defoliate, prune, and wire it, I haven't really done anything. There has been like a couple of branches that'll just kind of come out, 2 feet beyond the rest of it. And I will cut those off just because I don't really want those getting all out of hand like that. One of them's actually here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's a little branch that kind of sprouted right off the trunk and just kind of shot way out here. I pruned it. But, now that I just kind of look at it, as soon as I get started here, I'm probably just going to go ahead and cut it all the way off. It's coming out down there by the trunk or whatever, and just in an awkward spot that doesn't really go with the rest of the branching. But anyhow, I'll let you get a look at the other side of it here before I get started. Since I had left it alone for 5 months or so, I'm just going to get in here, prune everything, defoliate everything, take the wire off, and I believe I'll just let it rest for a little while. Let it get that spring growth, and then maybe this year wire it up for the summer instead of the winter. I kind of did this on purpose to leave it wired up all winter. It did grow through the winter, but not as much as it will if I wire it in the summer. And of course, I probably won't be able to leave it on 5 months for the summer. I'll probably only be able to leave it on for maybe 2-3 months at the most. And we'll go ahead and start rolling here. We're just getting started. Just got a couple of the first branches here, what I could reach from just where I'm at right here, and already just some of the stuff that I don't really see when all the leaves are on there. Got this long sprout came out from underneath. Those branches never really, I've never really found any of them worth being a keeper unless you had a specific wound you wanted to clean up there or something like that. as I go around taking all the leaves off and the growing tips, taking some of the obvious branches that have to come off. But after I get all the leaves off and get a better look at it, I'm probably going to come back around and prune quite a bit more off. Maybe after a while I get the wire off too. I did notice even before that some of the microcarpal, when you prune that all at once and you don't do any directional work to it or anything like that, it'll kind of grow back pretty evenly. I see a couple spots here where the wire is fighting really well in, and it's just some spots where it was growing a little bit more than the parts that I could really see when I was going around checking the wire. But I think with this being such a vigorous grower, I don't think that'll be a long-term problem. Let's go ahead and pull these weeds out. I don't know what that is. I think maybe some people might call that bitterweed. It grows everywhere in all my pots. Trunk here. That was that long piece I told you I had trimmed a while back, just where I was hooking out there. I mean, quite a few others like it that were getting that long. Coming from a piece there, it almost looks like a burl. I may cut that whole thing off, and I'm gonna wait to clean it up first and just see what it looks like when I can get a better look at it. There. Back and take the wire off. It's an interesting little spot there. Seems like maybe the wire caused a little bit of dieback, and then the tree was just growing around the dieback. I have to check it out when I get the wire off. At one point this summer, or towards the end of the fall or whatever, actually thought there might have been a nest in there of some sort, but I could just see it was just a big bundle of twigs and some dying leaves and stuff. these interior branches here are going to go. And those are just branches growing on a crotch. And then there is, it's an old wound there. There's like 3 branches coming out of it. I may keep that healthiest looking one. It won't hurt anything for the time being, so I'll just cut that tip off there. Alright, so that's what we got now. In a minute, I'm going to just kind of take a close look. Maybe think about pruning some more of these little twigs off. Not really that much out of place. But when I take this wire off, I'm probably going to knock a branch or 2 off anyway. Try to move things around where you guys can see things a little bit better. That was definitely a groove. I didn't want that deep. Take my wire off a little while ago. I had seen that. I still do think it'll be fine. It'll outgrow it. I mean, I can always cut the branch off if I want to, but do have some nice ramification going on there at the end, so I want to take the whole thing off. I know that, you know, with deciduous trees, which, I don't know, most people don't really consider tropicals to be deciduous, but everybody freaks out with the wire biting in because of the winter silhouette or whatever. Only time you get a winter silhouette with one of these is when you're working it. Generally speaking, there's usually so many leaves on the tree you wouldn't be able to see that anyway. So one thing as I was going around, there is a bit of a burl, I guess you could call it right there. And that's why I was letting that one, and then that other branch I just kind of broke off while I was going, because I've already been planning on, I was going to take them off. I was hoping, the reason why I left them there is I was hoping that, you know, this is, I don't even know if I mentioned that at first, but I did try to put this on a rock. It was one of my first times. I was really timid. I didn't quite bare root it to get on the rock like I should have. And, you know, whenever I pull it up, I may just, you know, use it as a nice little root spread there instead of, you know, and take it off the rock. It'll just, you know, I'll just decide at the time whenever I pull it up. It is developing better than it was the last time I checked at it for sure. But anyhow, I was leaving that branch and that other lower one just in the hopes that it would kind of cover that little, it looks like a burl, could be an old scar or whatever. And then if they came out, you know, really close to the rock, I was hoping that that they'd develop some aerial roots and start maybe grasping the rock like that. But the rest of the tree is so healthy, it canopies it out, and all it had on there was like 4 or 5 really, really big leaves because they... There we go. Got that root there I want to save. And I don't think I really needed to get too much close to the trunk anywhere. There's another little root popping off there. I'm pretty sure that'll develop not only another branch, but maybe some aerial roots too. And that should heal up over some time. I did decide at one point I was going to leave that. I guess I still will. But let's take a look at what else we got there. Here's a branch coming straight down. That's small enough I can just get that with those. There's a trident growing there, but it was dead. So, and I could have what I mean by I could have left it alone, but I went ahead and took it off. It was going to fall off sooner or later anyway. Tree doesn't really have a well-defined apex of any sort. Some of these spots where there's some straight up growth, rather than cutting down all the way to the branch, just gonna kind of cut the longer ones off a little bit. And since it does seem to grow itself a little more into a shrub-like appearance, I'm going to just kind of continue on with a design where it really doesn't have a defined apex. Yeah, like that. And that straight down piece there. Take that off. This piece wouldn't have been shaded out as much. I don't know why that piece was so weak. It's even got that aerial root there feeding it. This is where that bundle of wire seemed to have grabbed a hold. Yeah, there's some dieback. That's where I thought the nest was. Just I might have bundled up a little bit too much in the wire to begin with. Made a little piece of a die, but then it had a growth spurt through there too. And so there's some dead twigs in there and some live pieces. Pull the dead twiggy stuff out with my fingers here. And then that was kind of looks like where a little growth spurt came in, but that was coming straight down. And I might just cut that piece off there. It just looks really awkward. This piece is, first off, seems to be causing a big bulge in that branch there. And I can tell from the looks of it that it's having a growth spurt there of some sort that's getting it ahead of the rest of it. And so I'll take that whole thing out there. I think that part, even though it was kind of coming on from under it there, looks more interesting than that part I just cut off. And I think as that continues to grow, it should draw that out. Not necessarily straight, but I don't really want it straight. But with some movement in there and kind of even it out a little bit as it goes. Alright, so let's see. I think that's all I'm going to do for the day. Put it back out there in the sun. Let it just kind of grow at will without some wire on it for a little while. Let some of these wounds continue to heal up a little bit. All in all, pretty happy with how it's turning out. Especially considering there from how it started. I am going to put up an old picture there again for both you and I to just kind of compare the trunk sizes, see what's happened in 3 years. Now that I know I'm not going to work it quite as hard as often, it should start to trunk up a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.